Okay, part 2. Let's do this. The three fillies trotted on the country road in silence. So many times had they taken this route. The route from Sweet Apple Acres to Ponyville. So many times they had galloped down the path together, laughing, playing, acting outright silly. They had gotten into so much trouble then, and the route would often make use as somewhat of an escape route from an angry adult, or worse, an angry older sister. Now they were traveling it again, but there was no laughter, no playing, no angry sisters to hide from, only memories. But they were memories that the three would share together. Apple Bloom trotted between her two friends, her very best friends. Nothing would ever change that. A soft smile blessed her face, and her eyes closed. She didn't need to see. She could already see everything within herself. All at once, past, present, and future. She had traveled down this road so many times before. Her heart knew the way. Sweetie Belle glanced at her friends. Even Scoot now had a nostalgic smile on her face. She didn't understand. They were so sad before. So was she. Why were they smiling now? Sorry, I got angry at my dog. Why were they smiling now? Where were they going? What did Scoot mean by one last crusade? Should she be smiling too? But as hard as the little filly tried, she couldn't. Apple Bloom was her friend. She couldn't help but worry about her. Something was going to happen. She was sure of that. Something was already happening, but like before, she was still afraid to find out. Her thoughts turned to the past. Everything had become so strange after heartwarming. Apple Bloom had stopped coming to school. She had stopped coming out to play. Rarity had said she was homesick and needed rest, but days turned into weeks. Sweetie grew angry as every pony eventually stopped talking about her. Even Scootaloo grew quiet. They wouldn't tell her where Apple Bloom was. They wouldn't tell her anything. Then one day after school, Scootaloo came bounding into the Carousel Boutique. She had found Apple Bloom. She was hiding in the clubhouse. Sweetie Belle followed, and sure enough, there she was. They played, they laughed, they made mischief. It was just like before. But Apple Bloom would never want to go into Ponyville. She always stayed around Sweet Apple Acres. Okay, sorry. I'm eating a popsicle, so when Sweetie asked why, the old Apple family stubbornness in her surface, the Earth Pony would say she just couldn't. Sweetie had eventually stopped asking. The strangest thing of all was that no pony really mentioned Apple Bloom. Applejack talked about her on occasion, but it was very strange when she did. She'd always wear a sad smile and have a twinkle in her eye. The others would too, even Rarity. But whenever Sweetie would mention her new adventures with her Earth Pony friend, she'd get a weird sorry. She'd get a weird look from her sister, and on occasion, a stern one. Then one night, Rarity had a talk with her. She had told her Apple Bloom was gone, and she couldn't come back. Sweetie had entered a furious temper tantrum and cried herself to sleep that night. The next day, Sweetie frantically begged Apple Bloom to come to Carousel Boutique, but she wouldn't. Sweetie remembered how angry she had been at her friend. Even Scootaloo just looked at her sadly and shook her head. But now they were all going to Ponyville together. Sweetie Belle would have felt happy about it, if not for the lump in her throat and beating of her heart. What was going on? As the fillies entered the town of Ponyville, Apple Bloom opened her eyes and looked around. She wanted to take in every detail of the place. The colorful houses, the beautiful flowers, even the well-worn dirt on the street beneath her hooves. She wanted to remember. She wanted to remember it. She wanted to remember everything. The sparkling light was everywhere. It may have been nighttime for Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, but to her it was as bright as day. Soon they would reach the spot. Apple Bloom took a deep breath. As the three fillies rounded a corner, Apple Bloom stopped. She looked straight ahead, but the fear in her heart that she had expected didn't come. In fact, she felt happy, really happy. The Earth Pony smiled, her eyes sparkling beautifully. Scootaloo let out a sigh, accompanied by a single wet tear. Sweetie Belle simply looked at her friends, wide-eyed. "What is it, Apple Bloom?" the white filly asked, confused. "Why are you staring like that? You look like you've just seen a ghost." "Well, if ghosts are really pretty, I guess." If ghosts were really pretty, I guess." She followed Apple Bloom's gaze and pouted in confusion. Ponyville Hospital? Was this the spot? They are pretty, Sweetie Belle." Scootaloo's gaze went to Apple Bloom and then back to the white filly. The orange Pegasus smiled. 1,000 thoughts suddenly went through Sweetie Belle's mind as she pieced together the puzzle that had stumped her for so long. At last, she began to understand, but she wasn't sure she liked that at all. "No," Sweetie Belle sobbed as her eyes grew watery. "Apple Bloom, tell me it's gonna be fine. Tell me you're still okay." Apple Bloom looked away from her invisible wonder, turned to Sweetie Belle. I am okay, sweetie. In fact, I'm great." Apple Bloom's grand smile softened as she realized the sorrow in her friend's eyes. "Look what you're thinking about me right now. I'm sorry, Sweetie Belle, but it's true. I was sick, sweetie. Real sick and well." Apple Bloom struggled for her voice again. "I know," Sweetie sighed. "I think I always knew. It's just I wouldn't believe it." "Oh, I still can't, Apple Bloom." The little white filly threw her arms around her friend. Sorry, I'm starting to cry. Realizing for the first time how empty the space really was. But she knew it wasn't truly empty, so she grasped tighter. "Sweetie Belle, I don't want to say goodbye either," Apple Bloom cried. No, I can't see tears in my eyes. Crap. "But it's not really goodbye. It's more like a see you later if you think about it." "I just don't want you to go, Apple Bloom. I don't know what I'll do without you." Sweetie Belle cried into Apple Bloom's transparent mane. "Maybe I can convince Rarity or Twilight or the princess. Yeah, she can probably see you. Then she can tell everybody else and you can stay. It'll be like nothing changed and we can try really, really hard and..." "Sweetie, I have to do this, and I'm sorry it's gotta be so soon. But one day you will too." Sweetie Apple Bloom wiped her dry tears away and her eyes hardened. "You gotta trust me." "And me, little one." This was not the voice of her friend Apple Bloom or Scootaloo, but a motherly voice as old as time spoke now. "Your friend Apple Bloom is wise, and what she tells you is true. It is her time, Sweetie Belle, and you must learn to do what is best for her and let go." Sweetie Belle was in shock of the disembodied voice speaking to her, but she wasn't afraid of it. It was a loving, caring voice. Eventually the filly managed to gather up her strength and spoke. I guess Apple Bloom would do the same for me. I knew she would." All three fillies could hear the voice, and her friend smiled at her. And if I have to do this for you to be happy, then okay, Apple Bloom. I will take care of her. as I take care of all you little ponies," the voice continued. "And you will see your friend again, Sweetie Belle. I promise you." Although Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo could not see the owner of the voice, they knew that she was smiling, for a brilliant essence of warmth encompassed the three fillies. They couldn't help the powerful urge to smile. Okay, wait, let me wipe my tears. I can barely see. Makes me cry every time. I'm sorry if I'm ruining this for you. The three fillies joined together in a group hug which seemed to last forever. Their tears had dried, and none of them were crying now. Not even Sweetie Belle. They just held their loving embrace. No words were spoken, as they all told each other their feelings in that instant. They were not three little fillies anymore, but one union, one soul. An eternity passed before the friends finally let go of each other. I'm sorry, I'm very sensitive. Sweetie knew what was coming, but she didn't feel sad about it anymore. In fact, for the first time, she felt happy for her friend. Apple Bloom turned to Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo and looked at each of them in the eyes. "See you later, guys. I love you." As Apple Blooms once again transformed into those beautiful orbs of light, Sweetie Belle could have sworn she saw the form of Princess Celestia reflected in their glassy surface, and the princess was smiling. "Take it easy, Apple Bloom." See you later, Apple Bloom. We love you too." That was so hard to do. Okay, I need to stop because, sorry if my crying ruined it for you guys, but I'm just a very sensitive person. I'm sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Be sure to leave in the comments what readings you want me to do next. Like, maybe I'll do cupcakes next time. And I hope you're enjoying my speed paints as well. I might do a speed paint on this. I'm not sure. But it always makes me cry. I'm sorry. I'm just a very sensitive person. And see you later, Apple Bloom. We love you too. Just how it ended right there. Alright, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.